Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into Mahayana Buddhism today.
Ooh, excited.
And our guide for this exploration is the classic text, The Awakening of Faith in Mahayana.
That's a great one.
So, Mahayana Buddhism is all about this idea that everyone can reach enlightenment, become a Buddha.
Absolutely.
But have you ever, wondered, is enlightenment something you got to work for,
Mm.
Or is it already inside us, just kind of hidden?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. That's a really interesting question.
Like, are we already enlightened and just don't know it?
Well, that's kind of what the Awakening of Faith tackles head on.
Okay, tell me more.
It presents this idea of the one mind, but get this, it's got two sides.
Two sides, like a coin.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
You've got the absolute mind and then the phenomenal mind.
Okay, so two ways of experiencing reality.
You got it. Think of the absolute mind, also called suchness or tathata.
Tathata.
It's like the ultimate reality,
Yep.
unchanging, pure, beyond words.
It's tough to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I mean, imagine a perfectly clear mirror, right? It reflects everything, but nothing sticks to it.
Oh, I get it. So the absolute mind is like that, reflecting reality without being changed by it.
Exactly. Now, the phenomenal mind,
This is where things get messy, huh?
this is the world we experience every day. The senses, the thoughts, the emotions, the ups and downs.
So basically all the drama of being human.
Exactly. And the Awakening of Faith says this whole reality, as real as it seems, it's actually because we're ignoring our true nature.
Our true nature, that pure suchness we were just talking about.
You got it. So we're all walking around enlightened at our core.
But totally clueless.
The text calls it original enlightenment. But, and here's the catch, it's covered up by all this mental clutter, desires, attachments, wrong ideas about reality.
So it's like we have this incredible treasure inside, but we're too distracted to even notice it.
That's a good way to put it. So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? How do we go from this confused, limited experience to actually experiencing our true enlightened nature?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. How do we wake up to what's already there?
Well, that's where the idea of Storehouse Consciousness comes in.
Okay, what's that?
It's like this bridge between the absolute and the phenomenal. It holds both the potential for enlightenment and all the stuff that keeps us stuck.
So it's kind of like a container for everything, the good and the bad.
Exactly. It's where all our experiences, thoughts, actions, everything leaves a mark.
Like a cosmic hard drive.
Kind of, yeah. But these marks, they can come from ignorance, leading to suffering, or wisdom, leading to liberation.
So it's all about which files we're downloading into our Storehouse Consciousness.
Exactly. And the more we fill it with wisdom and understanding, the closer we get to experiencing our true nature.
This is starting to make sense, but it also sounds pretty complex.
Oh, it definitely is. The Awakening of Faith goes into a lot of detail about this process of purification and how we can cultivate wisdom and compassion in our lives.
I'm starting to get really intrigued. So where do we go from here? How do we start cleaning up that Storehouse Consciousness and move towards this awakening?
Well, the text actually lays out some very specific practices that we can use to cultivate our minds and move towards that awakening.
Okay, I'm definitely interested in hearing more about those. But maybe we should take a quick break and come back to that in our next segment.
Sounds good to me. We've covered a lot of ground already.
We have. This stuff is seriously mind-blowing.
I know, right? The Awakening of Faith is a real treasure trove of wisdom. It's amazing how relevant it still is today.
Absolutely. So let's take a short break and we'll be back to explore those practices for awakening in our next segment.
See you soon. It's like the Awakening of Faith takes all these practices we were talking about and connects them to the absolute and the phenomenal mind.
Right, like how we can shift our experience to match our true nature.
Exactly. And this is where the Storehouse Consciousness really comes in.
Okay, remind me, what's that again?
It's like not just the place where all those karmic imprints hang out, but also where everything comes from, all those phenomena.
It's like our inner world shapes our outer world.
Yeah. Think of it like a giant field of possibilities.
Okay.
And inside are the seeds of both enlightenment and all the stuff that keeps us from it.
I'm with you.
And our thoughts and actions are we're the gardeners deciding which seeds get watered,
Wow. I love that analogy. So if we keep watering the seeds of greed and anger, we're going to have a pretty miserable garden.
Oh, pretty much. But if we tend to the seeds of wisdom and compassion, that's where the real beauty blossoms.
I dig it. But the text also talks about how we perceive the world, right?
Yeah, it gets pretty trippy here.
Lay it on me.
So it suggests that this whole out there world, the one we think is so solid and real.
The one we bump into all the time.
Exactly. It might actually be a projection of our own minds.
Whoa, hold on. Are you saying the world is an illusion?
In a way, yeah. It uses this really cool analogy with a mirror.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine a perfectly clear mirror. That's our true nature, the absolute mind.
Pure suchness.
Right. Now, the reflections in the mirror, those are all the phenomena, the stuff of the phenomenal mind.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
So the mirror itself is perfect, but what we see can get distorted by, our own mental stuff.
So it's like we're looking through a dirty window.
Exactly. And the text says, when we believe those reflections are real and solid, that's when we start suffering.
Because we cling to them, try to control them.
When really it's all just impermanent, always changing.
So the key is to see through those reflections and realize it's the mirror that's the real deal, that pure suchness.
Exactly. We got to shift our perspective from those appearances to that ultimate reality, that underlying clarity.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? It sounds pretty difficult.
That's where those 5 core practices come in, remember? Charity, precepts, patience, zeal, and cessation clear observation.
Right. They're like tools to help us clean that mirror.
Exactly. Each one helps us chip away at those layers of ignorance that are distorting our view.
So they're not just random rituals or something.
No, they're very specific and powerful techniques for transforming our minds.
I'm starting to see how they all fit together like pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah, they all work together to help us realize our true nature. Let's go back to charity for a minute.
Okay.
How do you think that practice helps us see the world differently?
Well, it's not just about giving away stuff, right? It's about being generous in every way. With our time, our kindness, our understanding.
Right, and when we do that, what happens?
We start to break down those walls we've built up in our minds, the ones that make us feel separate from everyone else.
Exactly. We start to see that our happiness is connected to the happiness of others.
Yeah, it's like shifting from a me versus them mentality to a we're all in this together kind of feeling.
And that's huge. It's a step towards realizing that underlying unity, that suchness.
Okay, I'm with you. What about the precepts? We talked about them being ethical guidelines, but how do they fit into all of this?
Well, they help us purify our actions and intentions.
Right, by not killing, stealing, and all that.
Exactly. It's not about blindly following rules, but understanding the principles behind them.
So it's about becoming more kind and compassionate.
Yes. And as we purify our actions, we also purify our perception.
So instead of seeing the world through the lens of greed or anger,
we start to see it through the lens of wisdom and compassion.
It's like cleaning those dirty glasses we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. And that clarity helps us see the interconnectedness of everything, which is essential for breaking free from that illusion of a separate self.
Okay, this is all starting to click for me. But what about patience? That one seems really tough, especially in today's world.
It's definitely a challenge, but so important.
How does it help us shift our perspective?
Well, think about it. When we get angry or frustrated...
Which is like all the time.
Right. What's happening is we're clinging to this idea of ourselves as separate and solid, like we're being personally attacked.
So patience is about letting go of that idea.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that these emotions are just temporary states. They come and go.
And they don't define who we are.
Exactly. By practicing patience, we create space,
Space for what?
Space to see things more clearly, to respond with wisdom instead of reacting blindly.
So patience helps us break free from that cycle of suffering that comes from clinging to our ego.
Exactly. And it allows us to see the world with more clarity and understanding.
This is making so much sense. Okay, zeal. I know we talked about this earlier, but can you remind me how that fits into the picture?
Remember, it's about bringing that joyful energy and dedication to our practice.
Right, not just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's about really wanting to wake up,
And realizing our true nature.
Exactly. And that energy helps us break through our old habits, see things with fresh eyes.
It's like we need that fuel to keep moving forward.
And the text emphasizes that the zeal should come from a place of compassion, wanting to help all beings wake up.
So it's not just about our own personal enlightenment.
It's about realizing we're all interconnected and wanting the best for everyone.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, last but not least, cessation and clear observation. the meditation stuff.
This is where it gets really deep.
Take me there.
So cessation, remember, it's about stilling the mind.
Silencing all that mental chatter.
Exactly. And recognizing that all those thoughts and emotions, they're ultimately empty.
Empty? What do you mean?
They don't have any real solid existence, They're like bubbles, they appear and then they pop.
So we shouldn't take them so seriously.
Exactly. And clear observation, it goes hand in hand with cessation. It's about seeing things as they really are, without all our judgments and preconceptions.
So cessation calms the mind, and then clear observation allows us to see clearly.
You got it. And together they help us cultivate wisdom and compassion.
This is amazing. I'm starting to see how these practices can really transform our lives.
And the awakening of faith goes even further, talking about the transformation body and bliss body, these incredible aspects of Buddhahood.
Okay, this sounds pretty far out. What are they all about?
The transformation body is like the Buddha appearing in different forms to help people.
Kind of like wearing different hats.
Yeah, it's the Buddha's skillful means, adapting to what each person needs.
That's amazing. And the bliss body?
That's more subtle. It's associated with pure wisdom and compassion, like the Buddha's true form, radiant and blissful.
So the transformation body is about helping others, and the bliss body is about that ultimate state of enlightenment.
You could say that, but what's important is they're both expressions of the same reality, the Dharmakāya, the true body of the Buddha.
So they're like different sides of the same coin.
Exactly. And the text says we can actually experience these aspects of Buddhahood within ourselves.
Right, so it's not about worshiping some external Buddha, but about realizing that potential within us.
You got it. And that brings us right back to the heart of the awakening of faith, this idea that enlightenment isn't something we find out there, it's something we uncover within ourselves.
It's like we have this hidden treasure, and these practices are the map to find it.
That's a perfect way to put it. But we've covered so much ground already, maybe we should pick up here in our next segment.
Agreed. I can't wait to dive even deeper into these incredible teachings.
Me neither. There's so much more to explore in the awakening of faith. It's truly a profound text.
It's mind-blowing to think about all this potential we have, like the transformation body, the bliss body. It's like we're just scratching the surface of what enlightenment really means.
And it all comes back to that question we started with, right? Is enlightenment something we earn or something we already have?
Yeah. After exploring all these ideas from the awakening of faith, it feels like we're seeing that question in a whole new light.
What's so cool about this text is that it doesn't give us a simple answer. It's more like both.
Both. How does that work?
Well, we do inherently possess enlightenment. That's the whole idea of original enlightenment. It's always there, like a diamond buried deep inside.
But it's not enough to just know that, right? We have to actually dig it up.
Exactly. We got to clear away all the dirt and debris that's covering it up. And that's where the path comes in, all those practices we've been talking about.
So it's like we're both uncovering what's already there and creating the conditions for it to shine through.
That's a great way to put it. It's an active process, We have to cultivate faith, purify our minds, live ethically, really deepen our understanding.
So it's not just sitting around waiting for enlightenment to strike us like lightning.
Nope, we got to put in the effort. And that's where aspiration for enlightenment comes in.
Aspiration?
Yeah, it's not just understanding these concepts. It's having that deep desire, that burning wish to wake up.
Like a fire in your belly.
Exactly. It's what keeps us going when things get tough,
Makes sense. And remember, those three types of aspiration, through faith, understanding in deeds, and insight.
Right, different approaches, but they all lead to the same place, that ultimate awakening.
Like different paths up the same mountain.
And what I love about the awakening of faith is that it makes it clear anyone can do this.
It's not just for monks in caves or something.
Nope. It's for everyone, no matter who you are, where you come from, what you've done.
That's so encouraging. It feels like this path is really open to everyone.
And there are all these skillful means, upaya, to help us along the way.
Upaya.
Yeah, different techniques and teachings that are adapted to different people's needs,
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing?
Exactly. Remember that idea of suchness permeating everything?
Yeah, like that pure essence is always there, even when we're messed up.
Right. It's always nudging us in the right direction, like a little inner compass.
I love that image. And it's not just us on our own, right? We have all this support.
Oh, yeah, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Dharma teachings, the community of practitioners.
Like a whole team of spiritual cheerleaders.
Exactly. But ultimately, we have to take responsibility for our own awakening,
No one else can do it for us.
Right. It's about recognizing that power within ourselves to transform our minds, to create a better world.
So it's about becoming both the student and the teacher, learning and sharing what we learn.
That's the bodhisattva ideal, embodying wisdom and compassion and working to benefit everyone.
Wow, this has been an incredible journey. The Awakening of Faith is so much more than just an old book. It's like a guidebook for living a truly awakened life.
It's a call to action, to wake up to our true potential and make a difference in the world.
And as the text says, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering who we really are, that pure essence that's always been there.
And the more we uncover that essence, the more we bring light and love into the world.
That's a beautiful thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Mahayana Buddhism and the Awakening of Faith. We hope you found this exploration as enriching as we have. Keep those inner fires burning, folks, and keep diving deep.